Hello and welcome to Geekatplay Studio. My name is Amy Chopin and this is our Discovering View 2nd edition series of tutorials. In this tutorial we will be talking about the plant editor and plants. Now here in the left toolbar we have our plant icon. By just left clicking on it, a plant will pop up. Now if you have just opened up View and you haven't ever chosen any plant, this will be random. Otherwise, clicking on this is going to show the last plant that you selected. Now, I have done this twice, and you'll see that I have 2 plum trees. But you'll also notice with these 2 plum trees that they are both different. Let's get a quick render of that. They both look different here. This is because the plants that are in view, the solid growth plants, are all unique instances of the same algorithm, the same math used. So let's take a little bit of a look at that. Right now, I go to Edit Object. And here we have the plant editor. And there's a little bit of math for the basic structure of this plant. And there are several unique ones. We'll look at those in a little bit. And here on the right side, you're able to change the leaves. Now, first of all, you have a material or a picture that shows the leaves. And these leaves are hooked onto your plant by a center point. When you click on this little leaf down there, it brings up the leaf editor, and this red point is the center point that is connected to the plant by. And here's the alpha, and here is the color picture. Here white is totally transparent and black is totally there. So I'll click OK on that, and that's a little bit how they work. Now when you work with the length and the width and the rand, you're going to be working with the length and the width of this picture here, not of each individual leaf. You can change that, and make the leaves much bigger on there. Make that picture that is basically, it's a picture hooked onto an alpha plane where part of the alpha plane is transparent and the rest of it has these pictures of the leaves on, and you can make that as big or as little as you want. Randomness is going to, if you increase that, some of these are going to be much bigger and some much smaller. And so flexibility has to do with how much they can change on one side, and curl is how much that they are going to change away from the center point. So that's a little bit about how that works. And you have your overall color here. If you want to change that to something like a fall color, then even though all these leaves have a slightly different color, it's going to do some kind of color correction, and that changes that. So that's how those leaves work. And here in the trunk branches, you are able to change the shape of your branch or your trunk. Right now we're in all of the subsets, so this is changing it for all of them. I could change it for just the base, and then the base is a certain area here, so you see that base is here, and it can be longer or shorter. And then the rest of them, the trunk subset, is not just going to be the trunk, it's also going to be these leaves, or these branches that hook onto it. And you'll see as you make that bigger and bigger, all those branches are going to get wider and wider. So that's a little bit about how that works. Fall off is going to help your branches. If you increase the fall off, then that's going to make it so that it affects some parts of it more than others. If you decrease it, it gets kind of difficult to see our tree here. Let's let's make that tree a little bit less. There, so now we can work with our fall off a little bit easier, and you just see that that changes. The bigger the fall off, the longer the branches themselves are going to be. And every plant is going to react a little bit differently to these gnarls, just twists, changes the angles. The more gnarly, the wider the angles are from in between this way. Diameter, all these, and droop kind of makes all of your branches want to go towards down. And angle. An angle just is kind of changing the angle about how that works. So those are kind of a little bit about how all those settings work with the branch, and there's some finesse and there's some experimenting that you need to do with that. Here, if you like what you've done here, let's we'll exit that out and I'll start again and say I want more of a bush. So I increase the fall off, get more branches, decrease the length, maybe make it a bit more gnarly. I don't want to change the diameter, but I want it to droop down a little bit more, or maybe a little bit less, and change the angle of that. So I say, oh, I like what I'm looking here, what this is looking like here. As I look around, this is a pretty cool looking bush here, and I want to save that. And so this right here allows me to save the plant species. And so now we won't go ahead and save that. So now once I save the plant species and I name it and I click on it, I'm going to get a lot of different plants that are different like that, that have the same kinds of attributes that you've just put in there, but they're all unique and they're all within a certain kind of this average that you have created there. And every plant that you make with this solid growth technology in view is going to be a unique instance. And this is true even when you scatter plants around using the ecosystem on a material. Whatever plant you put on, no two plants are ever the same. That's one of the really strong points about view, and one of the things I like the most about view. You can increase your polygons if you want. If you are rendering your picture and you're seeing angles in your plant, which is a little bit harder to see, and you increase those the polygon count, you'll see less angles. The lower your polygon count, the more angly you're going to see this plant appear. So click on OK, and there we've got a pretty funky looking angly plant going on because we had decreased that polygon count, and the plum tree is already rather small on that. Now view has a lot of already set presets. If I right click on this, it brings up my plant browser, and you can see there are many different kinds of plants that come with view. If you have the little cornucopia symbol on it, it means that it's available, but you need to purchase it from Cornucopia Online. So that's pretty easy there. And there's a lot of things there, a lot of things you have available. If you say, I don't want to see that cornucopia symbol, you click down there and it should make those, you're able to make those invisible. Right click, do the little ghost, and they go invisible and you don't see them. And there are a lot of things available here. Plants, sci-fi, and they all have a different structure, a different basic underlying math that works with them. And and you can check that out in detail. In some places you can see on the web how those work. And at Geekatplay we have a little bit more information about that. So that's basically how the plants work, how the plant editor works. If you want to know more about Vue, about the plant editor, about anything, please visit us on the web at geekatplay.com.